Alrighty. So we're gonna take our t-shirt. It's damp. It's been wrung out in the washer is the best way to do it. And we're going to fold it to make a 4-petal flower. So you're gonna take it, you're gonna match your shoulder seams up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Match your shoulder seams up. Lay it down on your table. Take a minute to make sure everything's all straight. And you're gonna kind of eyeball it. I'm not real big on whether it has to be perfect, but here's about my center. And I'm gonna fold my t-shirt in half. I'm gonna bring the bottom all the way up to where it meets the top. This is gonna be the center of my flower. Now, I've got an extra big t-shirt, so this center might be way down on my body. If I want it up further, I can make the center of my flower come up higher. Yeah, like that. So this overlaps the top of my t-shirt like that. Now, you're gonna take the very top layer and you're gonna fold it back like an airplane fold, like so. Okay, so we still have a corner here where our center of the flower is. Then you're gonna take it, hold it on the center, hold all of the underneath here, and we're gonna fold that back. So now this really does look like an airplane, okay? So from the center, you're gonna start rolling it. And you're gonna roll in, trying to keep this as flat as possible and as tight as possible. And it's gonna start bunching and folding. And it's gonna take 2 hands, and you want to keep it as flat as possible. And then towards the end, you just kind of squish it around. And don't let that inside come out. Then you're going to take your rubber bands, spread it wide, go right underneath. I try not to pick mine up from the table. I'll just slide it right underneath. Take another one, go across. You want to use at least 4. And then any little pieces you have, see if you can get them tucked in to a rubber band. Okay? And then we're gonna cover the table with some plastic, and then I'm gonna show you how to dye it. All right, so here comes the fun part. So you wanna make sure that you have a Ziploc baggie open and ready to go. That's what you're gonna put it in when you finish. You wanna make sure you have gloves on. Got your damp t-shirt all ready to go. You got plastic on your table. And I chose 4 colors. So we've got 8 sections here. So I'm gonna do 2 sections of the same color. When you take the tops off of your colors, be careful, because after you've shaken them up, they're gonna wanna spit at you. So I always try to keep a little paper towel close by. And I don't get really hung up, like if it accidentally spews on parts of my t-shirt. I think that's kind of cool. All right, so you're just gonna start putting the color on. Now, you wanna be careful, because when you turn this upside down dye's gonna come out, okay? So you just put it on there and you just start dabbing it like so. You don't wanna squeeze a lot. You do wanna cover up all the white. It's okay if it goes underneath the rubber band. It's okay if it gets in another section. And you wanna make sure you get the sides. We're not gonna worry about the other side just yet. But get it really good and drenched all the way to the center. Then pick your other color. And I'm just gonna move my way around. I like to go in order. I don't like to jump around. Because then anytime I jump around, I mess my colors up. Not that you can really mess your colors up. And I do think teal's one of my favorite colors in tie-dye. And I'm using the tulip tie-dyes. I got it at Walmart. Easy, easy, easy. You don't want to drench this. I'm going to show you how to tell if you've gotten enough. So just get the white covered up. And some of the parts where we rolled it has more material, so it's a lot thicker. And it's going to take more dye. But again, I'll show you how to tell what parts need more dye. I'll turn this a little bit so I can see. Now I'm all the way around with my 4 colors. I'm just gonna start my colors again. And you notice it's gonna be right across. Once you go all the way around and get your colors on the first side, you want to flip it over. Don't put it down. Just flip it over and look. You can see, especially right here and right here, the dye is starting to come through on the other side, down in there. That's what you want it to do. This is rolled up really, really tight and thick. So you want the dye to start coming through just a little bit. So we want it to all kind of look like this. So I want to flip it back over and I'm going to put some more dye on all these sections. There we go. Now, before you flip it, you want to wipe and lay down. Wipe your hands off. And you're going to do this side. And this won't take as much dye because we let some of that soak through. Okay. You want to put this in a Ziploc baggie and you want to let that sit for 48 hours. Zip it up. I like to put it outside in the sunlight and let it really soak up and let it really heat up. Zip it closed. Okay, here comes the fun part. So our shirt has sat out in the sun for ideally 48 hours. Just sitting out there chilling. The dyes have soaked in, and now it's time to rinse it. You want to rinse it really, really good before you throw it in the washing machine. So take that in the bag. Make sure you're wearing your gloves. This is a messy process. I start with warm water because there's a lot of dye in here. And you're gonna lose a lot of dye. Do not panic. You still have a lot of dye in your shirt. I just squeeze, and I've left my rubber bands on for now, just because it makes it easier to control. See all that dye that's washing down the drain? This part's really important because if you were to throw this in the washer, if you would just take the rubber bands off and throw it in the washing machine, if you put anything else in there with it, it's gonna dye it. So my darker colors seem to be coming out fairly well. So I'm going to turn the water off. I'm going to take my rubber bands off. You can cut them off, but I like to reuse mine. Okay. Now resist the urge to open it up. Let it be a surprise. Turn your water back on. Do some more rinsing. I'm going to make it a little bit cooler this time. And I'm rinsing and squeezing. That's just opening it up some of those areas that were really squeezed in together. Now, you see the water down here when I squeeze? It's running fairly clear. There's still a little bit of dye coming out, but I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to turn this off, give it a good squeeze, and I'm going to open it up. Let's see my design. Now, I'm really, really, really happy with this one. But I'm going to continue to wash it, or to rinse it, while it's open like this. And what I do is I start at one end with cold water this time. And the cold water just kind of helps set the dye in. And I'm squeezing and twisting. And I'm not seeing any dye coming out, which makes me really, really happy. You see there's no dye when I squeeze. So that is really good. I'll wring it out. I'm thrilled with this design. It's the first time I've done this one. All right, then I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna throw it in the washer with a cold wash just to make sure those dyes are set. And I'm gonna use the Shout color catcher, just in case any of these dyes let go. That color catcher is gonna catch it, and it's not gonna mess up the design. It's not gonna mess anything else I might throw in there with it. So there you go. How to rinse out your tie-dye t-shirt.